Hey, frozen embryos, what's up? I have a new episode of comic reviews of Fate, and actually this time around, we're just going to spotlight one comic. And of course, this is brought to you by my own comic. I self-publish and write, Red Knight. All 4 issues are out right now, and you can purchase them either my Etsy shop or the Primal Paper Comics websites. The links are down below, and issue 5 is coming out very soon. October 17th to be exact. Now, Avengers vs. X-Men, Chapter 12, The Final Beginning. I just made that up. Alright. Everybody who works at Marvel writes this book. Jason Aaron, Brian Michael Bendis, Ed Brubaker, Matt Fraction, and Jonathan Hickman. Jason Aaron did the script, and Adam Kubrick did the pencils for this one. And right off the bat, I'm going to say I thought it was a pretty wise decision to do this as a team effort, because sometimes crossovers, when they're written by one guy, I don't know, it does seem a little unfair, you know, just as a fan, really, where you look and you go, oh, well, okay, Jeff Johns or Matt Fraction gets to write, you know, the next 6 months to 2 years of continuity for this company, and that doesn't always seem fair. So I really do like the fact that, you know, the main writers have gotten together, and it also keeps it from being, you know, too typical of each of those writers' kind of styles, because, you know, frankly, a few of these guys have very different styles, actually. So it was very cool that they put it together this way, where they came up with a story together, and each one of them wrote the script, and I think it, frankly, you know, made each issue felt pretty fresh, I thought. Now, for instance, this issue kind of does a lot of sum-upping for a lot of its characters, like Scarlet Witch and Hope, let's see, as well as Cyclops, where, you know, we get to see little bits into their lives leading up to these moments. The first flashback, I don't know, works as well. It's kind of what Bendis does. Not sure if it works as well done by Jason Aaron, but you know, it still gets the point across. Especially, all right. Well, we kind of get into we're still in the middle of that big giant final battle to end all final battles this month, and the flashback in the beginning sets the stage, really, where Cap and Iron Man are getting together and planning, and they're all realizing that the best way to defeat Cyclops, who has now become Dark Phoenix, pretty much becoming what Jean Grey was. The best way to defeat him is that Hope and the Scarlet Witch have to team up. And team up they do, while all the superheroes across the world are putting out fires and fighting Cyclops all at the same time. And even Nova shows up again, which, you know, frankly is a little jarring. It's like, whoa, hey, Nova, I remember you from the first issue, you know, 11 issues ago. But of course, you know, he gives it his all. And then finally, we have the big battle between Cyclops and Hope and Scarlet Witch. And, you know, there's a lot of kind of, you know, I've noticed something that Bendis has been doing, and now, of course, he's one of the writers of this, so it's not totally him, but I noticed a lot of things that he did when he first became kind of the big writer of Marvel. He has been undoing, like the death of Hawkeye is probably the first thing that was undone. I still don't understand whatever the hell happened to him, but he's alive now, so hey, great. And, you know, a couple other things like that have been kind of reversed, and the big thing that was done. I'm going to probably do this as spoilers, because I don't know if I could really talk about this seriously. I think the biggest thing from House of M is undone here, and without getting into too specifics about that. And I really do like what is. This seems like a crossover that does have some ramifications, or at least one that's going to be kind of permanent, and one that feels permanent, and that it's done in a good way. It does kind of shake up the teams of the Avengers and X-Men, and Captain America, you know, makes that statement that he feels regretful that he really hasn't taken up the mutant cause for all these years. He's always kind of felt like he's had bigger fish to fry, and he feels bad that he didn't really be more proactive in this, and that's going to kind of set his agenda, at least in the Avengers titles, from I don't know, from next 2 years anyway. But I'm looking forward to the kind of the new stage this sets up. I do feel bad. I won't say what happens to Cyclops at the end of this. He does get off much better than he did in X-Men 3, but I feel really bad for the guy, and I don't feel totally that everything was his fault, because the Phoenix power, the Phoenix Force does really change you, inside and out. So I don't know. I just also seeing Wolverine take over because Professor X is taken down and Cyclops is out of the picture now, and Emma Frost is out of the picture as far as taking the lead of the X-Men, and that sort of puts him in that position, which is weird. It's like when Fonzie took over Happy Days when Ron Howard left, and it's like, the show wasn't that great after that because he's the cool guy. He's supposed to be the cool guy over there, not the guy in charge. The guy in charge is not as cool. Not supposed to be. I don't know. So I don't know, but of course, the will of the people, the will of the fans, I guess, because everyone loves Wolverine so much. So now he's just become the most important X-Men character, I think. Not just as far as like story-wise, but I mean in the politics of the universe. But I really do like the stage that's set here. I think this is a pretty important, as far as like crossovers go, like, oh, this one's really important, you should read it, and you read it, and then, I don't know, one guy dies, or somebody gets a new costume, or something like that. This really does seem pretty important to me. At least one of Marvel's most important crossovers for a good long while. So I do recommend picking this up. I know some people have had some problems with it, and if you're a big hardcore X-Men fan or Cyclops fan, I totally get it. And there have been times where I've read this and I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm not that hardcore of an X-Men fan. But I think it's a story. I think it's done very well. As far as a crossover, I think it's done its job very well, actually. So I do recommend going back and picking this up. Of course, it's going to be traded up. I haven't bought too many of the satellite books. I've been buying the Avengers titles, but that's kind of been it. Thankfully, this book also stands on its own pretty well. I don't know if I'll be buying the 5-part epilogue series. I don't like that stuff. If it turns out to be super important, I don't know, maybe I'll get it, or maybe not. But I'm always of the opinion that the story should be in the main book. It should have a beginning, middle, and end. At least that's as far as I feel. I know you make more money when you put epilogues and additional miniseries, keep it going. But I'm of the feeling that, I don't know, I think Marvel and DC and other comic book companies that do big crossovers should kind of do the Kenny Rogers Gambler method of creating. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to walk away. Those are true words. I did enjoy this series a lot. I'm going to give this, I'm going to give this last issue 5 RAM chips. I really did enjoy it. I felt like I got my money's worth, even though it's a $5 read. I did, like, I don't know, I was pretty captivated through this. As a crossover as a whole, I think I'd give it probably a strong 4 RAM chips. That's almost every issue I've rated so far, so I think that's probably a pretty good average. So I definitely check it out. If you've been turning up your nose at this series because you hate crossovers, I totally get that, and I feel that too. But this one I think really does kind of merit the attention. I think that's it for now, so push the button, Lindsay.